If you've ever found yourself not feeling like you're worthy of having the things that you want, ever feeling like you're not worthy of being happy and fulfilled, not feeling deserving, or even self-sabotaging yourself from being successful, this is for you. Today, you're going to find out exactly how to eliminate this pattern, this old cycle, really put an end to it, and transform yourself and step yourself up to a whole nother level that you might not ever have imagined possible in the past. Before we get into it though, I just wanted to announce that I'm giving away my book for free to 3 lucky people every month. All you have to do is drop a comment down below this video saying the word winning. Just drop the word winning below, and also be sure to drop me a like to help me out with the algorithm and also to let me know if you enter the competition. The book is usually reserved only for students in my high-level program, but like I said, you can win it by simply dropping that comment saying winning down below. The first thing that we really need to address when it comes to your self-worth is what you base it on. You see, we all base our self-worth on something different. Some of us base it on our career and success financially, professionally. Others more so on the quality of their relationships. Other people based on their experiences and how much fun they're having. We're all different, but the most important thing is to be self-aware and to really ask yourself that question. What am I basing my self-worth on? What makes me feel like I'm not worthy? In what area am I drawing that conclusion? Because you see, our minds are biased. We're all biased. We're human beings, right? It's natural. It's how we're wired. But we need to really analyze and use the logical part of our brain to try to recognize and become aware of why we don't feel good enough. And if you start to understand what's really happening and what's creating this effect and what's making you feel this way, well, then you're doing a powerful diagnosis. And when you make a powerful diagnosis, it basically solves the problem by making it way easier as you get to the root cause and you understand the real reason for why this is happening in you and in your life. Usually, feeling a low sense of self-worth or not feeling worthy or not feeling good enough is a result of trying to chase some type of external result or goal and then maybe not feeling like you're hitting it or getting the thing that you want. Sometimes it can be when you're in a relationship and you're not getting what you want, and that causes a lot of frustration and anger, and then that builds up, and then you start to judge yourself and look at what's wrong with you, when sometimes it might be something wrong with the fundamental dynamic. Maybe you're approaching your goal or your objective in the wrong way. You might even be taking a ton of action and working really hard and still feeling like you're bashing your head against the wall. You see, the thing about low self-esteem and low self-worth is it sends you into a deeper spiral and it's self-fulfilling. So it's not like feeling low self-worth will help you get out of feeling low self-worth. The only way to get out of it, the only way to put an end to it is, like we said earlier, get a clear diagnosis and then understand why, the real reason behind it. Now we can start to really do something about it. Oh, and remember, there's no external fix that will take care of this. There's no end point, there's no thing that you can achieve that's going to magically fix you and make you feel complete and whole. More on that in some other videos coming up as well, but I just want you to know that, look, there won't be a solution to that empty feeling or that void, and there's no little secret trick or pill or magic hack or anything that can really fix that except for you doing the true inner work and being honest with yourself and working through the things that are really causing that in the first place. You see, your new goal should be to increase your baseline, where you start, not chase something so that you can temporarily boost it or feel a little surge in energy. Rather, look at how do you truly feel when you're by yourself. One of my favorite tests that I've used to get a clear reading on this was spending 30 minutes in a quiet room by myself. Not meditating, not trying to not think, none of that stuff. Just purely sitting there and seeing what I think about. Just being myself. Not doing anything, turning my phone off, of course, So almost like a meditation in that sense, but still allowing things to come up. And I'd keep a journal and just really write down my thoughts about myself. What do I think about myself? You see, this is the truth. This is the baseline that's so uncomfortable that most of us run away from. We're always trying to do something and achieve. And in that pursuit, we can hide what's really going on underneath. But of course, that's not healthy. And that's almost like if you were driving a car and there's a real critical error in the engine, and you just keep driving on and pouring in more fuel and thinking, oh, if I swap the oil, it'll be fine. And it's like, no, it won't be fine. This will continue. If you don't fix the root issue, the root cause, then how can you expect things to change? How can you expect growth? So when you diagnose and you give yourself the space to really think and breathe and look and be honest and not sugarcoat it and not try to pretend like you feel better about yourself than you do. You're really honest and transparent, and you don't try to coax yourself or talk yourself into feeling good, and you see what's really going down underneath the hood, right? Then it becomes clear, and now you have massive leverage. So this is really all about knowing thyself. You know, how do you feel about you? What is that self-talk? What's going on internally? And then resolving that, working through that, and taking your sweet ass time. Honestly, you can't rush this process. So often I tried to, just use some gimmick or some little strategy to transform my mindset. And every time it would fail and I would feel frustrated, and it's because I wasn't taking the time. And then when I started really sitting down and being honest with myself and looking at what's really going on here, Raphael, why are you feeling like this? What's going on? How do you feel about yourself? What's the truth? Don't try to look cool or, present yourself. Really, how do you feel? And the truth came out, and all of a sudden there were all these vulnerabilities and all these weak points and all these doubts and all these weird fears. And people will often tell you, no, don't look at that, just ignore it, focus only on what you want. And that can be decent advice. All advice is contextual, however, and if you have real root issues here that aren't being solved, and you're just trying the next gimmick and the next method, it's not going to change anything. You need to take your time here. Again, no secret magic trick. However, if you really ask yourself, where's this coming from? Where did this start? Why do I feel this way? Am I okay with this? Can I accept this? I don't need to move on from it or let it go or be past it or be superior. I don't need to somehow think to myself and trick myself into believing that I'm past it and that I'm better than that. I need to accept that that's part of me, or that I'm struggling there, or that this is going on, and fully come to terms with it, and then go, all right, where do I want to go from here? What do we want to do now? Who do I want to become? How do I want to feel about myself? What would I need to do to earn that trust with myself and build that self-worth for real this time? Not on some weird, little trick, not on some little gimmick and magic pill, but the core foundation of who I am, who I really am as a person, as a human being, the way I show up around other people, the way I affect other people. How do I want to feel about myself? And having clarity on that and really knowing that is what propelled so much of me really being able to live the life that I love, being able to achieve all my goals, being happy, being quote unquote successful, maybe even in other people's eyes, but most importantly for me, internally, really, really fulfilling my heart's desires. And I want that for you, but you have to take the time here and not try to skip and not try to force yourself into feeling it. Really allow it. And I worked with so many clients over the years, over 600 people that I've affected all over the world, one-on-one coaching and some group coaching, right? And what I always see is this need to try to get over it and quickly brush it off, and then we can go on and finally be happy in everything we want. But this is where all of the results come from, like the inner stuff, the inner world. Because no matter what tactic or hack, it's not going to get you results if the foundation is broken. It doesn't matter what cool spoiler I put on my car if the engine isn't running. Nice spoiler, dude. Like, great neon lights. You look so cool. Nice. Except you can't drive anywhere. So if you want to be able to drive somewhere in your life, if you want to have drive and energy and motivation and feel high self-esteem, then this is the work. And this takes time. And you might want to rewatch this and revisit this and do it again and again and again. And just take your journal out and start. And then go again and ask those key questions. Go through it again, go through it again. Keep working through to process everything that's underneath here. It's so easy to brush it off and try to think that we're past it. We need to take our time. That's the only way we'll get anywhere. I want you to enjoy that process, and then I want you to begin to cultivate unconditional love for yourself. Not performance-based love, not love based on what you achieve and how good you are in somebody else's eyes, but truly loving yourself no matter what. Again, not as a hack, but genuinely. What would it take for you to love yourself fully? And you might put a bunch of conditions. You might say, well, I need to achieve this, I need to do that, I need my mother to approve of me, maybe I need this from my siblings, and my friends need to say this about me, and then I can love myself. No. Not externally for you to really love yourself. The answer should always be nothing. You can love yourself for no reason and still strive and still push and still achieve, but not from a paradigm of being needy and desperate. You see, there's a higher consciousness here. Not everybody needs to operate out of desperation. That's a starting point. Some people, if you're in apathy, then that's useful. Don't get me wrong. But most of the people that watch this content, I know that if you're watching this, then you are likely transcending and ascending from that and going to a place where really what you need to work on is more so letting go of trying to push and drive and allow and step into that place where you're not trying to extend all this effort to feel good about yourself. You feel good about yourself by default. You allow yourself to feel good, and then you do all the cool stuff, right? Because now you're playing the game of life from an abundance perspective. Now you're not needy and desperate about everything. And guess what? People like that get better results. I remember 5-6 years ago, when I was starting my business, it was so difficult to get a client. And now, it's easy. It's almost overwhelmingly easy to the point where it's like I'm being, aimed at by potential clients, and they're finding me and they're targeting me and hunting me down. And it used to be that I would need to go and look for people. So you get into abundance, not just by, building a brand or, being super attractive or some secret hack, but really by shifting your mindset and going, okay, how can I be the person that I want to be right now, and then execute from that place? See, now we don't need to get somewhere before you have permission to act as your best self. You can act as your best self today, right from this minute. The next conversation you have, you can show up differently. The next person that you talk to, you can, really amaze and give them a great experience. Really step into it, really be there for them, right? The next customer you serve, or the next new person that you meet, whatever it might be, you can show up as a higher level version of you. You have permission to do that right now because you love yourself unconditionally. You don't need to be someone to hold that space. You allow that, and then from there you operate. And that's a whole different dimension of being. Now make sure that you remember this. You can really enjoy the process of growth way more by detaching from the outcome and the results, by truly accepting yourself as you are right now, and then knowing that everybody experiences insecurity to one degree or another. And so it's a question of how you handle it, not whether or not you have it. See, that's the difference between how you'll feel. It's not whether or not it'll come up, because it will. It's rather how you deal with it that counts. I really do hope that you enjoyed this and that I brought a ton of value to you, and hope you're having an amazing day. If you want to take things to a whole nother level and work with me one-on-one in an inner circle mentorship program where there's a bunch of other amazing like-minded people who are growing, working on themselves, improving themselves constantly, then I suggest that you go to erafael.com and book yourself a free one-on-one consultation. Really, we'll sit down, map out a strategy for you, walk you through exactly what you need to do to elevate your performance, to really become your best self. And you'll get a ton of value out of that. And if you decide to join the program, you'll be surrounded by awesome people as well. You'll be getting really, really in-depth mentorship and coaching, helping you succeed, helping you be fulfilled, be happier, and have more of what you want in your life. Again, don't forget, go to erafael.com, put in your name, put in your email, and then you'll be sent to my booking page and you'll schedule a time for us to speak. I'm looking forward to seeing you. Talk to you soon.